See, the thing is, you said that. I guess we can start.
It started. I caught it in time. I just wasn't going to interrupt you. I started it. Go ahead.
All right. Well, the thing is, this last comment, you said that was surprisingly blind of you. I'm not relating anything about socionics here.
That's not to you. That's to the other guy who said
Oh.
who attacked what I was saying in relation to whether or not it matches the model of socionics, which is missing the point. You know.
Well, I thought we were both talking about this comment you said about acting like it's a TE-driven rule of prohibition. See, right there, you're saying that TE would have rules of prohibition.
Right, because TE is concerned about the outcome of like whatever. You know, that's why you say, well, we're not gonna. You're acting as though TI has a rule that I'm saying that something is forbidden when I say that TI excludes it from the status of correct. But I'm saying no, that is not forbidden. It's not like a TE rule of prohibition where you say, well, we want to stop drug abuse, so we're going to forbid this drug. That would be like a TE approach to it. It's not about the mechanisms of ancillary things like rights or whatever. It's about here's the problem, let's solve it. You know, so that's what I meant by it's like you're treating it like a TE rule of prohibition when what TI is saying is that no, we're not saying it's forbidden to say those things when we say it's wrong. What we're saying is that since you've decided to play basketball with us, and namely that it has certain specific rules, you can't, if you say something specific, then I get to say, now did you say this specific thing? Yes. Do you mean the word to mean this? Yes, 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 yes. And then I get to do something with it. So it's not just a system where everyone throws something into a pond and it just sinks to the bottom. It's a build off of each other's system. But that requires their words to mean
But
something, and you get to build in either direction. You can negate or affirm.
yeah, but you realize that's prohibition of speech in the time dimension. You're trying to, at this moment, get them to realize that they can't use that argument in the future.
No, what I'm saying is that we have to be able to master time for TI in the following way: that we understand when we engage in a communication that we're arguing about something that is noted off. In other words, this conversation between Megabro and Eric has a finite beginning time and a finite ending time. Everything that's been said within here is therefore concrete in its duration and its totality. It's finite. I mean, you know. Um, so as a consequence, we know that we don't have to worry so much about whether or not what we're saying is true for the sake of forever. That would make it impossible to ever say anything. We get to now worry because we understand the way time and TI go, that we worry about whether it's true for the sake of this conversation and what we're trying to do with the conversation. Now, the problem arises when people are trying to do things with the conversation other than move it forward at all. If they're just doing it for, like I said, like throwing rocks into a pond to see it splash, and not actually expect anything to happen, then that's a different matter. Then that's, I don't know what you'd call that. Like, I don't even know what you'd call that thing. But if, right, if a word is going to be built upon, I agree with you that you can say it however you want. There should be no prohibitions about that. But if your word is going to be usable by other people, you can build on it at all, do anything with it, go anywhere with it, then it has to mean something. And you know, and what they're asking me to do is to build off of their thing without
See,
any guarantee that they won't pull it out from underneath it, and then everything
well, wait a
collapses.
second. I don't actually know the context of. All I saw of this context was that the initial topic, the video, was that people were trying to talk about feelings or something and
No,
ideas.
no, it was look. These fuckers keep attributing to me that the reason we're fighting is because I want to win too much or I have to be right all the time, something like that. When the reason we're fighting is because they keep making statements like that. They keep attributing shit to my feelings or my motivations that is not attributed by those, except in the sense that I have a genuine feeling of regard for a clean system, a genuine feeling of fairness, that everybody should be honest as much as possible. So when they're constantly managing this FE shit instead of actually engaging the ideas, it's frustrating because they're not engaging the FE shit fairly or nicely either. They're trying to conflate the two. They're saying, you're wrong because your motivation is this. You're wrong because your motivation is that. Or you're right, I'm right because your tone is like this. Or I'm right because your tone is like that. That might be the case if we were talking about the tone, but we're not talking about the tone. So they're pretending to, they're starting an argument about tone, then pretending it's about logic, and then just projecting and doing bullshit. You know, like stuff that I need to do a better job of not taking the bait is what I've decided. I haven't had a conversation. I made a big video about this with Nick and Taylor, in which, you know, because Nick's been more or less swayed into advocating that side of things that says, look, you guys are both wrong. This is an ego thing for both parties, but it's not. And if you don't get caught up in their little spell, you'll recognize the fact that we've got, not you, Mega Bro, but one, if one doesn't get caught up in the spell, one realizes the fact that I've had these conversations, this kind of conversation with shitloads and shitloads of people for a long ass time. And the kind of conflict I'm having with those two people in particular, Neptune and Spacey, is distinct, different, and potentially more dangerous than any other kind of discourse that I've encountered around here. It's a kind of trolliness that displays a deep disregard for the well-being of everybody else. It's saying, I'm going to troll you on the fact that you want things to be fair. So I'll constantly be slightly unfair in ways that make everything dirty. And then that'll get you upset because I'm making everything dirty. Well, that's dirty, and the solution is making videos like this, I guess. Making it clear that don't be fooled by that shit. They're trying to fool everybody into thinking that it's about whether or not Eric's agreeable enough or has the right tone, or whether or not he's too fighty or not fighty enough, or if it's motivated by having to be right or wanting to win or something like that. Those things are there. That's time magic being done on behalf of muddying the water, of making shit confusing, of not agreeing to stick to your words, of not allowing people to do meaningful discourse work.
Well, I agree that the topic shouldn't be changed onto the subtopics or things that aren't relevant. But I'm comfortable with confusion.
I'm comfortable with confusion too, when things are ambiguous. But what I'm not comfortable with is saying, because I can't answer what you're saying, I'm going to attack the fact that you always want to be right or are addicted to winning, which I was accused of. That the reason I'm fighting with them is that I'm addicted to winning. The reason we keep battling is because they keep trying to say shit like that. That's false. That's not what we're fighting. We're fighting because you keep trying to attribute things that aren't relevant to my motivations or psychology to some sort of psychological problem on my part. But I'm not the one who's displaying this kind of deep resentment that you don't see. You're not coming off as the smartest person in the room. Well, you're not, Neptune. You're not, Spacey. You're not coming off as the smartest person in the room. You'd like to. I get that. You're not able to yet. Maybe you will someday. Not with that attitude.
Well, I haven't seen any of this, so I have no idea.
It keeps coming up because, like today, Nick sought me out, said I'm self-sabotaging. Why am I self-sabotaging? Well, because few people got into his head. Like Neptune, Spacey, and a couple other people, I'm sure. It's a failure to parse out distinct issues, and therefore you can't really deal with them. I agree with the Courtney point that I was too mean to Courtney last night, but I had to eliminate the possibility that she could actually, you know, understand what I was saying and just fucking get it. But she doesn't exactly get what I'm saying, and that's fine. I don't think she's going to, and that's okay. I don't condemn her at all for that. I accept that reality, and it's my bad then for trying to push, because it's not something. It's not her being stubborn. She has a different kind of way of thinking about things, and that's all there is to it. So that's fine. I need to completely lay off Courtney, because now that I understand that, then she's not being stubborn. She's not. It's not a character issue then. So then it becomes a character issue for me if I keep lambasting her about it. With those two, Neptune and Space, though, it is a character issue for sure. They're being dishonest, and they've convinced other people of their dishonest view of things. And so, you know, one thing I really like is that I think it's an interesting storyline. You know, I appreciate the fact that they're bringing drama to the table, and I appreciate being challenged as a truth speaker to step up to the table and say, this is what's actually happening. I need to explain it well, because they're good at their tricks. What they are doing is subverting objectivity, subverting directness, subverting transparency, subverting honesty by attributing motivational matters in general or style matters to answer realities they don't like to face. What I try to do is pin them down. That's what they don't want. And you say it's because I'm forbidding them from saying something else in the future. No, I'm saying I'd like to build a house here. Now, I'm going to put down some things on this foundation you lay here. You're not going to move the foundation, right? Because I'm going to start building here. So if you move the foundation later, then all my work will have been for naught. So I got to make sure you mean what you say here so I can build on it. Otherwise, we're not actually conversing. You're just making sounds. I mean, do you understand what I'm saying about that, as far as exclusivity goes? I can't do anything with anything if it doesn't mean something specific. And that if it does mean something specific, it means it doesn't mean something else. There is a commitment in time to speak if you want to be taken seriously. If you're a legitimate voice, then you have to at least agree to the constructs of this conversation. I'm not going to suddenly change my position 180 degrees in the middle of the thing and expect us to have done anything.
All right. I think that's a good video.
Thanks, Mega Bro. That's great NI. Fucking beast mode NI there. Thanks for watching Talking with Fans, people.